What's up, y'all? You know what it is, your boy City Boy. So recently I made a post about using the 50-yard zero. And I know I got a lot of different opinions about the 50-yard zero. And in that post I said most of my hunting rifles that I use, I'm usually shooting within 200 yards. So I know that 50-yard zero will get me within a 10-inch plate of vitals that I can precisely calculate and shoot. I don't use that 50-yard zero on all my rifles. The post said most. This hunting rifle, this is a 30-06. 30-06, yes, the turrets are adjustable, but I've never adjusted them to take a game within 200 yards, okay? Never. They're adjustable, but I lock them on zero once I zero it in at 50, and I'll take game out to 200 yards effectively. I have not missed. I have not made a bad shot. I have not had to put another shot in an animal because he was wounded. It's just a simple 30-06 Savage, and it works well. I do glass bead my bed, so it's bedded, so it's floating in this chassis. It does not touch the wood anywhere other than the action, okay? 50-yard zero works well for that application. When I sight my buddies' rifles in at 50-yard zero, I know that they can take a game effectively out to 200 yards with a 50-yard zero. Now, I would not take my 6.5 Creedmoor with adjustable turrets and do the same thing. I zero this in at 100 yards, and then I lock my zero at 100 yards. So when I make my adjustments, I can get back to zero by simply turning the turrets. Windage and elevation is very important when you're shooting beyond 200 yards, in my opinion. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty good at what I do. I have harvested game out to 350, 400 yards effectively. I'm not going to take this rifle, the 6.5 Creedmoor, and shoot at a wild animal at 500 yards without knowing that my rifle is capable of taking game at 500 yards. This is the only rifle that I would trust out to the ones that are sitting up here right now. The only rifle that I would trust out to 500 yards. I have a 308 as well that I shoot out to 600 yards effectively by adjusting my minutes of angle, MOA. I don't have MRAD optics. I use MOA. So this is what I like to use. This is a Vortex. As you can see, it is a capped turret. That means I have to take the cap off to make adjustments. Once I zero this in at where I'm going to zero it at, I leave the caps on it because it has marks inside of the optic that are going to pretty much get me to where I need to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be dead on at 500 yards by looking at the graduated lines in the optic. I'm saying that I can effectively take this, zero it at 50, and shoot out to 200 yards effectively. This is a 6mm arc. It will do the trick. 6 arc, 30-06, and the 6.5 Creedmoor will effectively zero at 50 and take a game out to 200 yards easily. I'm not going to say you're going to be in a 1-inch group at 200 yards by just putting the crosshairs where you want it and squeeze the trigger. I'm saying it will effectively get you within a zone to harvest an animal at 200 yards. Now, my guys that I hunt with, we don't go to New Zealand. We've never been to Africa. We're just some guys that enjoy white-tailed deer hunting, wild hog hunting. We shoot within 200 yards, our range, because nowhere around here, unless we have a power line or a gas line, that we can shoot out to 500, 600 yards, period. Um, yes, this has a bubble level on it, and it's all set up to shoot long range. 6.5 Creedmoor is a great caliber to take game 500, 600 yards using the proper ammunition. I will effectively take animals out to 500 yards with this optic. Optics are important because you can adjust your windage and your elevation. That's what you want to make sure you can adjust on an optic. Eye relief is very important. Everything, scope, base, rings, everything has to be torqued precisely. I'm not an amateur. I do shoot. I shoot a lot. This is a simple Vortex Crossfire 2 sitting on top of a 6mm arc. I will shoot hogs, coyotes, white-tailed deer. I will take headshots because I know this rifle. Do I like taking headshots? On coyotes, yes. Wild game, like hogs, yes. White-tailed deer, not so fast. I'm not a headshot person on white-tailed deer. I like heart and lungs. Heart and lungs, that's what I like. Or high shoulder. Break the spine, kill them quick. That's what I do. If I'm hunting heavy cover, brush, I like big bore. I like my 450 Bushmaster, my 350 Legend, my 308 because it stops them. It stops them. It's a lot of kinetic energy being delivered. So therefore, 50 yard zero works well for my 308s, my 30-06, my 6mm arc, 100 yard zero for my 6.5 Creedmoor. My other 308 with the 24-inch barrel, I use 100 yard zero. I have not missed, thank God, and I'm going to knock on this wood stock because it is wood. I have not missed an animal. I have not wounded an animal that I had to put a follow-up shot into within 200 yards as of today. Like I said, I'm not going out to a place where I have to shoot 800 yards to take a wild game. That's just not me. One day maybe, if I'm ever invited and I have the funds to go, of course I'll go. But right now, I'm just an average Joe hunting white-tailed deer in heavy cover, short distances. All the woods I hunt, I have not shot a deer this year that was over 100 yards. 50 yard zero has been working very well. At 50 yards, I can zero it. At 100 yards, it's just an inch high, which is perfect. 1 inch high is perfect for me. So therefore, the 50 yard zero works well for me. You, on the other hand, if you want to zero yours in at 100 yards, that's fine. I have an indoor range with a 50 yard range, and I can get a good zero at 50 yards. Some rifles at 50 yards, I sight it in. Point of impact is an inch lower than the point of aim. So if my crosshairs are at the bullseye, I'm 1 inch low where my bullet impacts because I know that rifle. Therefore, I'm still using 50 yards to zero my rifles. I'm not saying I'm shooting the bullseye at 50 yards. I'm using the 50 yard range to zero my rifles at that range. 1 inch low compensates for scope height. You want your scope height, you want to measure that from the center axis of the scope to the center axis of the bore. Measure everything. Yes, there are so many variables to sighting in a rifle for your hunting pleasures. And never would I say 50 yards is going to work for everybody in every situation on every caliber. Never would I say that. I said I zero my rifles at 50 yards. Period. If you want to test the theory, try it out for yourself. Otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. Stay happy. Keep hunting successfully. Harvest your animals and keep living. This is what I say about the 50-yard zero. It works for me. It works for others. Some people, it does not work for you. Okay. Enjoy hunting. Hunt hard. We only have a few days left of rifle season. January 1st is the last day. And then we go into urban archery season. So you'll see me pull out the crossbow and the compound bow a little bit longer. But otherwise, I'm going to continue to hunt how I hunt and enjoy every minute of it. If it doesn't work for you, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Otherwise, have fun, hunt hard, stay safe. Safety is the most important thing. My brother E-Dub was hanging a stand just the other day, and thank God he had on his safety harness, because when he checked the platform on his lock-on stand, it collapsed. It could have been critical. It could have been very crucial. So y'all stay safe, enjoy hunting, enjoy yourselves. It's your boy City Boy checking out. Peace.